Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are looking at the NBA PrizePicks plays for Saturday, January the 7th. We have a 5-game slate, one early game at 6 o'clock, and then the rest after 8 o'clock. They just took out CJ McCollum because he just got ruled out for rest, and he was going to be one of the props that we were going to be having in the video, so I already got another one planned that I'm going to share. I have 6 props I want to share with you guys. Yesterday's went 5-1. LeBron James, out of all the props, let us down. Hit the over PRAs on Julius Randle, LaMelo Ball, over points and rebounds on Nik Vucevic, the over points on CJ McCollum, and also the over PRA on John Collins. LeBron missed by a few. But today, we have 6 more, like I mentioned. Let's get started. As always, if you enjoy the videos, appreciate it if the like button, subscribe. If you have not already, let's get a 6 for 6 today. First one that we're looking at is we're going to the fantasy score prop, and we're taking Luka Doncic over 60.5 fantasy. He's coming off of a tough game where the team got blown out against Boston. He had a tough game himself. But now he's going up against a Pelicans team that is going to be even more shorthanded. I think Luka is probably going to capitalize by just having a monster triple-double. If you're worried about a blowout, you could stay away. But personally, I do not really want to factor that in. If the Mavs end up blowing the Pelicans out, Luka probably is going to finish with like 70, maybe fantasy points, because on these types of games, we've seen him go off against teams that are just bad defensively. Houston and San Antonio recently, and the Pelicans missing. With McCollum ruled out, they're going to be missing their top 3 guys. Valanciunas also questionable. So they're going to be super short on bodies. And I think Luka is going to probably have a monster triple-double tonight, even if he sits most of the fourth. If we look at his games against the Pelicans, he's done very well against them the last couple of times in 2022 that he's faced them twice. Got a 37-point, 11 rebound, 7 assist game. And then last year in February, he had a 49-point, 15 rebound, 8 assist game. And just with coming off of a tough game, it's a good bounce back spot tonight. So that's the first one. We are looking at second one. We're going to our guy that's just continues to do really well recently. He's been awesome for us, and that's going to be Nik Vucevic, over 29.5 points and rebounds once again tonight. It's a favorable matchup against a Utah Jazz frontcourt. We saw Vuce last night, with Embiid being ruled out. It was going to be an easy spot for him against the Sixers frontcourt, against Harrell and PJ Tucker, and those guys just can't match up with Vuce, especially with how aggressive he's been lately in terms of rebounding. And the Jazz are kind of the same type of deal. They have Kelly Olynyk starting at the 5, and Olynyk is never much of a rebounder. Vuce should be able to crash the glass early and often today, and he's just been doing really well in terms of scoring at a pretty good clip. So I love his points. Rebounding has been there every single game lately, and the Jazz, they are playing well this year. They've had some tough losses recently in some close games, but I just feel like Vuce, the way he's been playing, and the matchup is being favorable against a front court that is a little undersized and will struggle to rebound. I got to go with him over 29.5 points and rebounds. If we look at his game log, last night against Philly, he gave you 37 points and rebounds. He had 34 previous game against Brooklyn, 33 against Cleveland. Missed it game before that against Cleveland. Then he gave you 28 against Detroit, 29. And then he had a poor game against Houston, but then 33, 27, 41, 32. I expect him to have a good game. It's at home in Chicago. So that's what we're going with. He had a big triple-double last night. Those are 2 props to get us started today. You could look to his PRA if you wanted to, if you think he's going to have a big assist game, but that definitely looks like an outlier. He had 5 combined assists the previous 3 games before last night. So Luka and Vuce to get us started. We're going over to points, rebounds, and assists now, and we're taking Klay Thompson over points, rebounds, assists. He has been greened out, starting to play a lot better recently, and he's been shooting. He has been shooting a lot, and now a lot of them are just going in for him. So he's scoring a lot more points. He's had 3 straight games over 30, at least 30 points, 30, 54, and 31. Game before that against Charlotte, he gave you 29. The rebounding has been there also at times. He gave you 8 rebounds against Atlanta. He had 9 rebounds against Memphis. The assist, you can basically pencil him in for 2 to 4 assists a night. And so I love the PRA against a bad Orlando team that they give up a ton of points. The Warriors themselves, they don't play great defense, so it should be a high-scoring game. The time that they played them this year was November, and even with Steph Curry there, Klay Thompson still gave you 34 PRA, and he had a good shooting night. And that one, I'm going to count on it happening again today. So over 32.5 PRA on Klay Thompson is our third option. Next, we are going back to Utah. We are taking the other side of this game, going Mike Conley over points, rebounds, and assists. He's hit this in 4 straight games, and it's no coincidence that all those games have been without Colin Sexton, I believe. He might have played maybe 1 or 2 of those early ones, but Sexton's been out with a hamstring, and he's going to be missing, about at least a week. That was back on January 2nd. So at least the last couple of games been without Sexton, and he's had 24 and 26 PRA. And his minutes have just been higher without Sexton, not Sexton being out. He's played 31 and 33. Usually sometimes he'll play high 20s or, can get you into low 30s. But you're basically going to expect him to play 30-plus minutes, if not 32 to 34. He's had almost a double-double last game with 11 assists. He's 11, 7, 8, 8, and 10 assists over his last 4 games. So that's very good. He's given you some good, occasionally decent rebounding games, normally a couple. But then scoring-wise, he's still going to take 10 or so, 10-plus shots, usually in that range, 8 to 12. He shoots the 3 a lot. And again, Chicago, they're not the best defensively, so I think he'll be able to do a good job. At least maybe get you a double-double and be able to hit this over 20.5 PRA. Those are 4 props we have so far for today's slate. The 5th one, we are going back over to the fantasy scoreboard, and we are going to Sacramento and taking Darren Fox over 41.5 fantasy. I love this number for Fox. He's going up against a Lakers team that's on a back-to-back. They got the nice win last night, but they were short on bodies, and they're probably going to be short on bodies again today. Reeves is out for a couple weeks. Lonnie Walker, I believe, is out already, and he's going to probably be out for a couple more games as well. And Darren Fox is going to be able to capitalize by going up against Russell Westbrook when he comes into the game. Westbrook plays terrible defense, and he's probably going to start the game by going up against Dennis Schroeder, who doesn't play good defense either. So Fox should be able to score really well. He should be able to have some assists. It should be a high-scoring game. And also Westbrook just turns the ball over a lot, so Fox, known as being the swiper, is his nickname, Swiper the Fox, should be able to hopefully rack up a couple steals, or maybe 1 steal, or give you a block shot or something like that, and be able to really just crush this fantasy. He's had 2 games against the Lakers this year, and both of those games, I'm pulling up the game log right now, but both of those games he was well over 41.5 fantasy, and he had a 32.7, he had a 22.4 rebound, 6 assist game. That was a couple weeks ago. And then before that, he gave you a 32, 7, and 12 assist game. So actually, one of those games, he had a monster game over fantasy. The other game, he just played 30 minutes due to the blowout. And he gave you still a decent fantasy line. That would be close to 40. However, today, I think he's going to be... No, he's been good recently. A couple games over 50 for him fantasy-wise. And, with Sabonis and him, and the team is playing well, Malik Monk has a Q tag, so he could be out, which would lead to a couple more shots for Fox. But over his last handful of games against the Lakers, he had 22 points, like I mentioned, 32 points, 29 points, 30 points, 17, 34. He's done a good job also mixing in a lot of assists. He's had some steals that mixed in there, some rebounds as well. I love his chances to go over 41.5 fantasy today. And then for our final prop, we are going over to Orlando. And there's a few props that I think you could consider here. I think you have Paolo Banchero, who's been playing better over his last few games. Now, I know you messed up a lot of people's props. He was super popular on PrizePicks, against the Lakers and against the Pistons, I'd say. But he let people down those games, and he's bounced back. The minutes have gone back up to 35-plus in 3 straight games. And it's a good matchup against the Warriors. The early meeting against them, the Magic got the win Paolo had a 22.8 rebound, 3 assist line. Bol is out today. And then Jalen Suggs returned last night. He only played 5 minutes, though, so that was pretty interesting to see that his minutes limit was that low. I don't know if something might have happened to him out there. There's a chance he could even sit out on a back-to-back, even though he only played 5 minutes. So I don't really think that'll happen. But, there's no reason for the Magic to rush him back. And then you also have Markelle Fultz, who I do like at over fantasy today as well, because you don't expect Suggs to play. You get a big jump from 5 minutes played last game. Cole Anthony's been struggling a bit, and Fultz has done a great job of doing a little bit of everything for the team. He's not the best shooter, he's not the best scorer, but he does a good job of getting his teammates involved and getting rebounds. He's had 8, 5, and 9 line last game. He's had 13, 6, 4 line, 12, 7, 6. He's just filling up the stat sheet, and that's going to be a great asset for fantasy purposes. He's also done a great job of racking up steals, which is super valuable on PrizePicks, especially for these fantasy props overs. So you get those 3 points for those. And he's not a big turnover guy either. So I'm taking Fultz over. I think Ben Carroll's the other guy you can look to, or even like Franz Wagner. But I like Fultz going up against like Jordan Poole, who, at times he'll turn the ball over. And Fultz could capitalize and give you some easy points that way. And he plays good defense. I got to give him that. So those are props today. Luka Doncic over 60.5 fantasy. Nikola Vucevic over 29.5 points and rebounds. Klay Thompson over 32.5 points, rebounds, assists. Mike Conley over 20.5 points, rebounds, assists. Fox over 41.5 fantasy. And Markelle Fultz over 26.5 fantasy. Thank you for watching. Best of luck. Leave any other props in the comments. And I will catch you all next time.